themselves with this show, and it has grown and grown and grown and blossomed like a flower in the springtime. And that is one thing that I can say that has made this show what it is today, tonight, on our season 2 finale. When I look back, there was one thing that all my guests have in common, that they all have been great. Each and every one of them. We don't just randomly pick our guests. We hand pick our guests. We hand pick them. We analyze them, and we say, would this person be a good fit for this show? They may not be a good fit for this show, but they'll be a wonderful fit for this show. You see? Doesn't mean that they're not a good guest to have. It just means not for this show. Certain guests would be okay for a show on reality television that might not have been good for the hazing show. Certain guests for the hazing show may have looked at the reality show and be like, no, I don't think I want to talk about that. You get where I'm coming from? And so, that's why we do go through a very intricate process of picking who our guests are here at Late Night with Ed Moore III, and that is what we try to do, and that is what we make sure that, because if you think about it, the guests are a reflection of the show. If you have great, wonderful, inspirational guests, then the show at one point will eventually become great and inspirational. If you have a show where guests are fighting and calling each other names and spitting at each other and yelling and cursing at each other, well, then that's the audience that you attract, and that's not either good or bad. I'm just saying, 1 + 1 = 2. So as listeners, have you all felt well, no, that's not really what I wanted to say. What is one word that will describe your listening experience?
Well,
one word now, not 10.
I would say informed.
Informed. What about you, Pamela Horton? One word that describes your listening experience.
I'm going to use the same word you did, inspiring.
Inspiring.
Because I've been here a few years. Just a few. And
just a few, Pamela
This is
Horton.
the only show that I ever remember being like this. Ever. And I love it.
I'm going to say outstanding.
Outstanding. If there is one thing that each of you all will remember, one pivotal moment in the show that you all will remember, what is it? What is one thing that just stands out the most overall as listeners?
That happened on the show?
That on the show, yes. Tick tock. Tick,
I'm trying
tock.
to. Could you repeat the question, please?
My question was, what is one pivotal thing? What is one thing that stands out from the rest about this show? One thing, good or bad, that you remember, that you will always forever remember about Late Night with Ed Moore III. If whether it was something that was said, something that was done, something I said, something one of my guests may have said, one thing that you can say, yep, that stands out from the rest, or that was a pivotal moment for this show.
Good questions.
That's a deep one there, Ed.
Wow.
That's a lot of tapes to go through.
Over 50 hours of taping.
Yeah, so no pressure. Wow.
I would think
Wow.
the way you bring the show, I don't know how to put it in good words. The way...
Just speak it from your heart. Doesn't have to be eloquent.
The way you treat the guests as they're like, that is like their show. Like, you don't make it where this is your show, this is what you say, this is where everything needs to go. You made it where everyone is comfortable, making them feel free, say whatever's on their mind to a certain extent. You don't want to go out to the car and then everybody decide to shoot it up stuff. No, you just make it where it's very comfortable and very relaxing. Cause you know people be coming here, be thinking about, oh, what he gonna ask me today? Cause that's what I said when I came. What he gonna ask me today? What you made it where it was comfortable for us to easily tell us how we feel about it. Very informative. That what stands out the most of all your shows. So we couldn't pick just one. So I had to say all.
Okay. What about you, Pamela Horton?
Okay,
Okay, Pamela.
I would have to say your singing, because
My singing.
I went back and looked at the Whitney Houston tribute. And you were almost up there with her.
Okay.
No, I'm playing.
Okay. Love you, style.
See, just wonderful.
Just wonderful, I know.
It was. But the Whitney Houston one was really nice because I liked how you play in the mix of it. You were playing like songs and stuff. I did like that.
That's good.
Information's always good, so I can't pinpoint one. Just your singing, I guess.
Okay. My singing. Well, thank you so much, Pamela Horton. What about you, James L. Parker? What is one pivotal thing that will stand out for you as a listener with this show from the rest?
I'm just gonna go off of what Aaron said. I really felt welcome because this is my first time being on the show.
Yes.
And,
welcome to the family.
Thank you. But I really felt welcome. I feel comfortable, if you can already tell. But they really, it helped because you couldn't tell I was nervous, but I was really nervous.
Really?
But as you can tell, I'm no longer nervous.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that's something that stood out to me. That was a moment.
A moment that stood out for you. And now you all came in as listeners, and now you will leave as guests.
Boom. Boom, Mr. Parker. Boom.
You will now leave as guests of Late Night with Ed Moore III. You will now go down into the archives of this show's history, and I hope that's a magical feeling.
I feel honored.
You feel honored? That's good.
I'm greatly appreciative.
You're excited, and you didn't
Me
even see my
too.
face. You can tell I was happy.
I didn't even see. Yeah, I asked Pamela Horton to come over. I asked her to be a guest on, through Facebook, and so I didn't know what her facial expressions looked like.
But you could tell by
Right. Oh my God!
You're happy, aren't you?
Yeah, you're happy, aren't you? She's like, just a little bit.
I am.
Just a little bit. LOL.
I'm very appreciative of this, moment, because I know you've been trying to get me from probably twice.
Yes.
You've been trying to get me twice. I just been so busy.
It's okay.
But this time I tried. I made it sure so I can come.
We made it.
No, I ain't got no wife yet. Let's not put that in the air first.
No, Mr. Rudolph is not married.
No. Just happy.
Just happy.
Just happy. We're gonna go with that.
He's very
We
happy.
have a lot of
Let's say, I know I was surprised when you asked me. Well, actually, I was with Neema when I got the message on
You was
Facebook.
with Nin Maseshi.
Yes, I was like,
a guest from this show as well.
Neema, who was Ed? I said, when you on this show? Then she was like, yeah. I said, what should I do? And then she was like, go for it. She's African. But,
Nimba is a
African princess.
Yeah, Nimba says she's been on this show many times. She is British and African, and that's why he said, he kind of put that comedic slide in there. Good for it, because she's been on this show. She was on the female empowerment show, and she was also on last season when we did the show on Appearance. And Dr. William Arthur Meehan, the president of this university, has made an appearance on the show. He was on the season 2 premiere, the Hazing in America show. Him and the university attorney, Judge Samuel Monk, as well as the vice president of Jacksonville State University, Rebecca O. Turner, as well as the university director of university development, Earl Warren, made he called into that show that night, and he spoke about how he had a family member, I believe he said it was his brother, who was hazed, and how his brother told him, I got to do this for my brother. I got to do this because I want to be in this group. I got to do this because I want to be in this organization. And when I think about moments like that in the show, just because you get an understanding of something doesn't necessarily make it okay. But when he told me that, when he called into the show that night and he said, I have a brother who was hazed, and he said that he had to do this, he had to do it to be a part of this group. He had to do it for his brother, quote unquote. I said, wow, people really go through that just to be a part of something. When we did the show on I'm trying to think of when we did the show on the college freshman in America, when the guests came onto the show, the guests from that night, let me pull this up real quick. Pastor James Patterson, Danny Livingston, Wade Cotton, Nick Brown, Charlie Lockhart, and Rachel Elizabeth Jackson, they all came onto the show, and they basically, there was a lot of things that as a freshman, now as a sophomore, soon to be a junior here at the university, that I've just forgotten. And when they came onto the show, it kind of refreshed my memory. Oh yeah, you did have to go through. Oh yeah, that's what it was like being a freshman. Because a lot of that stuff I've just forgotten. A lot of that stuff I just kind of blocked out, if you will. Especially now that I'm an adult, I'm just trying to grow as quickly as I possibly can to be as successful as I can. And so when they came on, they said, well, as a freshman, you kind of go through, as a college freshman, you kind of go through those relationships with your parents. You're trying to be grown, they still want you to be a kid, or they want you to be grown and you still want to be a kid. And a lot of that stuff I was like, oh yeah, because and James Patterson, the pastor of New Harvest Christian Center, just across the street here in Anniston, Alabama, he came on here and said, basically told college freshmen, listen to your parents. Listen to your parents. They don't want to steer you in the wrong direction, not intentionally. They want you to be successful. That's why you're in college, because they want you to be here. And that to have college freshmen know that just because you leave off and go to school, just because you leave off and go to college doesn't make you grown. And I'm sure all of us, especially James and Aaron, we're all in the same age bracket here. Y'all understand that? Yes. Don't you? Yes. About the whole, we want to be grown as soon as we leave out of the house.
I know I wanted to be grown when I left, and I just live in Gaston.
Right. It's like, woo, I'm so glad to be out of here. I'm going to go out here, I'm going to do everything. And then there kind of comes that point where it's like, I need to calm down. Yes. There comes that point, you might get hurt, or something may happen. It's like, it's that one moment where your light just kind of comes on to say, it's time for me to be a college student. It's time to focus. Well, Mr. James L. Parker.
Yes.
Miss Pamela Horton. And Mr. Aaron Rudolph.
Yes.
I thank you so much for your time on this show. I thank you that you came in as listeners and that you are now leaving as guests. I thank you for standing by your radios, and I thank you for standing by your computers to be a part of the success of this show. I thank you so much, because without you all, we would have no show. We would have no show. And that is why I try to let everyone know out there that I, Ed Moore, I'm only a small piece of this puzzle. I'm only a small piece of the puzzle. The bigger pieces come from my guests, my staff, and the listeners. So I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will be right back with more of the Late Night with Ed Moore, the third season 2 finale, here on 91.9 FM, WLJS Jacksonville. Coming up next, I'm going to discuss some of the lessons that I've had the opportunity of learning since season 2's premiere 3 months ago. We'll be right back here on the Late Night with Ed Moore, the third season 2 finale. Keep it locked.
that, yeah. And I don't wanna tell who, what, when, where, why, and how, 'cause who cares? No, nobody cares. But I hope you soon find out how to love. Once upon a time you wanted to learn. I thought I could teach you, but you were more afraid.